Hey everyone, Brett from Kitchen Table Commander here. Welcome back to Table Manners, the series where I discuss the rules and etiquette of our favorite format, Commander. In this episode, I'm going to discuss a rule that most of us probably take for granted. We do it without thinking. Shuffle up, draw 7, and then no land. You guessed it, the mulligan. Now before I get into how we do mulligans in my playgroup, I want to take a second to remind you to click that like button and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. It helps us spread the good word of Commander across the YouTubes. Now let's start with the history behind the mulligan. There have been many ways to mulligan over the years. In the beginning, there was RNG, and it was bad. Then the R&D department admitted that wasn't fun, and in 1994 came the first official mulligan rule. If you had no land or only land, you could shuffle up and draw a new full hand. This was also bad, but not as bad. I mean, both of those situations would be terrible for the player that got them, but there are many combinations of cards in between that would also be bad. So Matt Hyra began testing a new form of mulligan. One that not only accounted for the near-infinite combination of bad hands, but also mitigated the potential for an unbeatable hand. This started testing in 1997 at Pro Tour Los Angeles, but was accidentally included in the official tournament rules for Pro Tour Paris, hence the name Paris Mulligan. The Paris Mulligan allows players to replace their opening hand for any reason and any number of times, but came with the drawback of getting one fewer cards in their hand each time they mulliganed. This brings us to our current mulligan rule, the Vancouver Mulligan. This was introduced in, you guessed it, Vancouver during Pro Tour Magic Origins in 2015. Similar in nature to the Paris Mulligan in that you can replace your hand and you get one fewer cards. However, you now get the opportunity to scry the top card of your deck once you've chosen to keep your hand. This had the benefit of speeding up the mulligan process since most people were likely to accept their hand with fewer mulligans. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk Commander mulligans. Until the release of Oath of the Gatewatch, the official Commander mulligan rule was the partial Paris. The TLDR version is that you pick any number of cards from your hand that you don't like, and draw one fewer cards from your deck. Then shuffle the ones you didn't like back in. For a competitive format, this would be the worst possible mulligan. It promotes building decks that couldn't otherwise be supported by their land bases. Competitive players would keep only their best stuff and shuffle in their bad cards in hopes of land. Meanwhile, casual players would be building decks with a higher CMC and worse mana bases, and then pay the price for keeping greedy hands. So why the change to the Vancouver mulligan? Well, in my opinion, it was to bring Commander more in line with what the rest of the Magic community was doing. Why have one format and one format only not following the same rules? Judges already have enough to deal with the tournaments. They don't need to remember a second mulligan rule. This brings me back to the number one rule for Commander. House rules are encouraged if it means a more enjoyable play experience for the whole group. Now don't at me because a lot of you have asked what my play group does for mulligans. We take a very casual approach to this process because our group is very casual. We don't tend to have a big disparity in power levels between our decks. No one has fun if they can't play the game. You get a choice of two methods. First is just the good old second 7, and the second option is a cross between the partial Paris and the Vancouver mulligan. I'll go through the stages and explain as I go. First, you can choose any number of cards to discard, then you draw that many cards, like the partial Paris, and put the discarded ones on the bottom of your library in any order, unlike the partial Paris. If after that your hand is still a garbage fire, you can Vancouver mulligan, but you're going down to 6. This mulligan style may seem unorthodox and way more complex than it needs to be, but we found that it usually results in a generally more enjoyable play experience for the entire group. It doesn't seem to ever result in unbeatable hands, and it usually means that most players have plays they can make early in the game. Now I'm curious, what do you think about this kind of mulligan? Do you use the Vancouver mulligan, partial Paris, or something unique like mine? Leave me a comment to let me know. For casual at the kitchen table, there is no right or wrong way to play as long as the group is having fun. Well, that about does it for today. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button, leave a comment, share it with friends, or subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know the second we upload a new video. It helps the channel and it's completely free. If you want to throw a couple bucks our way to help us improve the channel, you can do that through our Patreon at patreon.com/kitchentablecommander or through our sponsor Inked Gaming. Use the affiliate link in the description to let them know we sent you, and you can use coupon code KitchenTable10 at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. You can even pick up the Kitchen Table Commander playmat while you're there. As usual, you can find me on Twitter at KitchenTableCMD, on Instagram at KitchenTableCommander, and on Twitch at KitchenTableCommander. Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll leave links in the description to all our socials. It's been a blast, and I'll see you in the next video.